Welcome back to Official Sigma Male, the channel that's redefining what it means to be a man in today's chaotic world. Before we dive into today's powerful content, I need to ask you something. Are you tired of following the herd, only to end up exactly where everyone else is, mediocre and unfulfilled? If you're nodding right now, hit that subscribe button. Why? Because each week, we deliver actionable insights that have transformed thousands of men from passive followers into sovereign individuals who create their own path. Today, we're exploring 7 uncomfortable things that only Sigma males do. Behaviors that might seem strange to the average person, but are precisely what separate the extraordinary from the ordinary. Strategic solitude. The first uncomfortable. The thing that defines Sigma males is their deliberate embrace of solitude. Unlike the average man who fears being alone, Sigmas cultivate strategic solitude as a competitive advantage. This isn't about being antisocial or having anxiety. It's a calculated choice to protect their mental energy and focus. When you observe a true Sigma, you'll notice they often decline invitations to social gatherings that offer no value beyond superficial connections. They'll happily spend weekends alone, working on their craft or expanding their knowledge, while others desperately seek company to avoid confronting themselves. I recently coached a client, a high-performing entrepreneur, who blocked off 3 entire days each month for complete solitude. No phone, no internet, no distractions. He told me, those 3 days of isolation generate more clarity and progress than the other 27 combined. His competitors call him weird. His bank account calls him successful. Strategic solitude feels uncomfortable because society has conditioned us to believe constant social engagement is healthy and necessary. The Sigma male recognizes this as a lie designed to keep men distracted and dependent on external validation, rejecting social validation. The second uncomfortable trait of Sigma males is their complete rejection of social validation. While alpha males actively seek admiration and betas crave acceptance, the Sigma operates with total indifference to others' opinions. This manifests in various ways: wearing what's practical rather than fashionable, speaking truth regardless of how it might be received, and making decisions based on personal values rather than social trends. I witnessed this firsthand at an industry conference last year. While everyone networked frantically, exchanging empty compliments and business cards, one man sat quietly in the corner, deeply engaged in conversation with just one person. Later, I discovered he had secured the largest deal of the event. When I asked about his approach, he simply said, "I don't need 20 shallow connections. I need one meaningful relationship with the right person." This rejection of validation extends beyond professional settings. True Sigmas don't post their achievements on social media. They don't announce their goals. They don't seek approval for their life choices. This silence makes others deeply uncomfortable because it cannot be measured, manipulated, or understood through conventional social frameworks. Brutal honesty. The third uncomfortable quality of Sigma males is their commitment to brutal honesty, both with themselves and others. In a world built on comfortable lies and strategic omissions, the Sigma's dedication to truth is jarring and often unwelcome. A Sigma male will look in the mirror and acknowledge his weaknesses without excuse or justification. He'll evaluate his skills, achievements, and failures with clinical detachment. This self-honesty creates the foundation for genuine growth. When extended to others, this honesty becomes even more uncomfortable. A Sigma will tell you your business idea has fundamental flaws, while everyone else praises your entrepreneurial spirit. He'll point out that your relationship is dysfunctional, while friends encourage you to keep trying. He values truth over temporary comfort. I coached a Sigma client who was promoted to a senior leadership position and immediately told his team their previous work was mediocre and their processes inefficient. The initial response was shock and resistance. 6 months later, productivity had increased by 78%, and the same team thanked him for his candor. As he told me, temporary discomfort leads to permanent improvement. This brutal honesty isn't about being cruel. It's about respecting others enough to give them the truth they need rather than the lies they want. Calculated risk-taking. The fourth uncomfortable trait of Sigma males is their approach to risk. While the average man avoids risk entirely and the alpha takes risks impulsively for status, the Sigma engages in calculated risk-taking with strategic precision. Sigmas understand that extraordinary rewards require extraordinary risk, but they approach this equation with mathematical coldness. They research extensively, consider multiple scenarios, and prepare for contingencies before taking action that others perceive as brave or crazy. I worked with a client who left a prestigious $250,000 job to start a business in an unproven market. His colleagues thought he'd lost his mind. What they didn't see were the 2 years of meticulous market research, the savings he'd accumulated, and the network he'd built specifically for this venture. 3 years later, his company valuation exceeded $20 million. This calculated approach to risk extends beyond financial decisions. Sigmas apply the same methodology to relationships, health choices, and skill development. They ask, what's the worst possible outcome? Can I survive it? What's the potential reward? Is the exchange favorable? This mathematical approach to life's uncertainties makes others deeply uncomfortable because it highlights their own fear-based decision-making. Emotional discipline. The fifth uncomfortable quality of Sigma males is their exceptional emotional discipline. In a culture that increasingly celebrates emotional expression without boundaries, the Sigma's ability to regulate his emotional responses seems almost inhuman to observers. This doesn't mean Sigmas don't experience emotions. They feel deeply, but respond thoughtfully. They understand that emotions are valuable data points but dangerous decision makers. While others allow anger, excitement, fear, or desire to dictate their actions, the Sigma observes these emotional states with detachment. Before choosing his response, a Sigma client once described being betrayed by a business partner who stole proprietary information. While others expected rage and immediate legal action, he spent 3 days in complete silence, analyzing the situation from multiple angles. He eventually implemented a response that not only recovered his losses, but positioned his company more advantageously in the market. This emotional discipline becomes particularly uncomfortable in personal relationships. A Sigma doesn't engage in emotional manipulation, doesn't use feelings as weapons, and doesn't make important decisions in emotionally charged states. This stability can be misinterpreted as coldness or lack of passion, when in reality it represents the highest form of emotional intelligence, refusing to compete. The sixth uncomfortable thing that defines Sigma males is their refusal to compete within established systems. While alpha males excel at climbing existing hierarchies and betas find security in accepting their designated position, Sigmas reject the premise of the competition entirely. This manifests as an apparent indifference to traditional status markers and achievement pathways. Sigmas don't chase promotions within corporate structures. They either create their own companies or become invaluable specialists who operate by their own rules. They don't pursue academic credentials for prestige. They acquire specific knowledge that delivers disproportionate results. I mentored a Sigma who declined a C-suite position at a Fortune 500 company. Instead, he created a specialized consultancy that now serves multiple industry leaders on his own schedule. with his own methodology, at his own rates. He told me, "Why play someone else's game when you can create the game and control the rules?" This refusal to compete within established parameters extends beyond professional contexts. Sigmas don't compete for social status, don't engage in materialistic one-upmanship, and don't measure their romantic relationships against cultural expectations. This selective disengagement from competition is deeply uncomfortable for a society built on comparative hierarchy and visible status markers. Embracing discomfort. The seventh and perhaps most defining characteristic of Sigma males is their willingness to embrace discomfort as a pathway to extraordinary results. While the average man organizes his life around minimizing discomfort, the Sigma intentionally seeks productive discomfort as a catalyst for growth. This manifests physically through demanding training protocols, intellectually through tackling complex subjects outside their expertise, and psychologically through deliberately facing their deepest fears and insecurities. A Sigma client implemented what he called discomfort training into his daily routine: cold exposure, fasting, difficult conversations, and regular public speaking, his greatest fear. After 6 months, challenges that paralyzed others became minor inconveniences to him. His capacity to execute under pressure multiplied exponentially. The Sigma understands a fundamental truth that others avoid: comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every significant improvement requires temporary discomfort. By embracing this reality, rather than resisting it, Sigmas develop an immunity to the friction that stops most men from achieving their potential. This willingness to embrace discomfort rather than avoid it creates an uncrossable gap between Sigmas and average men. While others organize their lives around comfort, convenience, and pleasure, the Sigma organizes his life around growth, meaning, and excellence, regardless of the discomfort involved. These 7 uncomfortable traits: strategic solitude, rejecting social validation, brutal honesty, calculated risk-taking, emotional discipline, refusing to compete, and embracing discomfort, separate Sigma males from the crowd. They're not easy to develop, and they're certainly not comfortable to practice, but that's precisely the point. The Sigma path isn't for everyone. It requires sacrificing temporary comfort for lasting fulfillment, immediate pleasure for long-term power, and social approval for personal sovereignty. If these uncomfortable truths resonated with you, hit that subscribe button now. Why? Because this channel is dedicated to men who understand that the path of highest resistance leads to the greatest rewards. Each week, we provide the strategies, mindsets, and tactical approaches that transform average men into exceptional ones. The uncomfortable truth is that most men will remain mediocre because they prioritize comfort over growth. By subscribing, you're making a declaration that you choose the uncommon path. Until next time, embrace the discomfort and watch your life transform.